seeing more, I don't know if it's my neighborhood, but a lot more like feces on the ground. Everybody has a pet these days. Nobody cleans up their dogs.
Not everybody.
I feel like it's worse in the last like year or two.
Because you said they give you like the little poop bag. You can buy them for like $1.
And now, I think in certain neighborhoods, they have them on the fence.
Yeah, and
there's
some parks that like offer those for free. Like,
yeah.
If you go to the HPC, they.
I mean, I think everywhere I'm walking, it's like you have to like wash your shoes.
Right.
It's crazy. Like, if you get a dog, at least take care of it.
those are like ships outside.
Yeah.
Well, at least like like at least like in my neighborhood, what we do is even housing says it's okay. Sometimes it's like it's okay, but it's not okay. You can let them poop in the grass because it works.
Oh no! Don't do that.
That's what they told me. That's what they told me. Like, you have a big
No.
Don't
let it
I'm
happen.
walking in the grass and I'm always like,
Yeah. That's why I don't let my dogs in the grass like that anyway because they put rat poison. So I think that's also why they let us do it. Because like, yeah, let your dog sniff the poison. Yeah, they're just really.
All right, Osagie, you are up. Get your timer going.
Is my rubric ready?
Your rubric is ready.
Timer set.
Timer is set. You are good to go. Did you press record?
Yes, it's ready to record.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Osagie Kovadia, and my topic today is all about police brutality. Yes. Now, before I define the definition of what police brutality means, I want to ask you guys a question. What does police brutality mean to you? Show of hands. Any show of hands? Yes.
When police abuse their power and use it against the people that they claim that they're gonna supposedly help, but they don't. Especially when it's with Black people.
Oh, that's good. Anyone else? Anyone else? Oh.
When cops think they're above the law.
Huh?
When cops think they're above the law.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's really good. Anyone else? Okay, good. Now, let me explain what police brutality means. Now, at first, police brutality, it means it is an extreme form of police misconduct. It is a violation of civil rights. And police brutality may involve lots of shootings, lots of beatings, lots of improper takedowns, and of course, unwarranted use of tasers. Yes, tasers, yes it is. An example of police brutality may contain the list of African Americans who got brutalized by law enforcement officers or police officers. The names that you remember from the past to today are the following names: the death of Breonna Taylor, Eric Garner, George Floyd, Rodney King, I said also George Floyd, and Memphis civilian Mr. Tyree Nichols. Yeah, lots of them got brutalized and we miss them so much on behalf of Mr. Beast. But sometimes police brutality is taking it too far. So there has to be some other ways we can end police brutality together. And if it continues, then we don't know what's gonna happen. So to end police brutality, we must provide better education on law enforcement officers. On the law enforcement officers on cultural sensitivity. And with that being said, even if I got the definition right here, with cultural sensitivity, it means to be aware about the cultural differences between the people and the law enforcement, even if they start to do anything that is a little bit crazy. Sometimes police may be ready for it. They record everything from their badges, but it needs to get a little bit crazy. And of course, there's de-escalation techniques, which provides to use caution, be compassionate, and of course, slowing down. Just make sure you take your time. You just don't want to go insane. Not like that. Of course, the use of force. For example, when I saw a video about Eric Garner who just uses a choke, the police had to choke hold Mr. Eric Garner. They just used their force too much that Eric Garner can't breathe very well. So that's the reason why these police officers have the audacity to just choke hold Mr. Eric Garner, and then he won't breathe anymore. He died, just like that, just shown on news everywhere. Now, the only thing is, my information about this topic will focus on the authority supporting the communities. For example, we can learn how to speak out against injustice, yes. And of course, advocating on policy changes, and of course, we can provide financial assistance on promoting trust between the police officers and the communities around the neighborhood, parts of boroughs of New York, and across America too. So, to this conclusion about the topic that I have chose today is that we need to provide accountability and transparency within the police law enforcement agencies, proper guidelines for making arrests, improve training and ensure officers understand their legal limits, and last but not least, all people should have access to due process and justice, which due process means it has to do with fair treatment, having honesty, integrity, and the law. And that concludes my topic about police brutality. Thank you. So, before I leave this podium for today, are there any questions about police brutality? Show of hands. Yes.
I have a question. What do you think we should do about the police officers who, like, even though they do go through the training and they still abuse their power? What do you think should be done?
What should be done?
Like, what steps should they take?
What steps should they take? If I remember anything in the news, I'll get back to that. Any questions?
So what's your opinion on defunding the police?
Defunding the police.
Taking the money away and putting it in other places of the community.
Yeah, defunding the police. Shouldn't they have what it takes to make sure they stay within the rules? Defunding the police, I don't know. I think the mayor should talk to the police officers about, making sure that they do their job, and making sure they don't have the audacity to break the rules, arresting people they didn't do, wrongfully. But with defunding the police, did it have to do with money?
Yeah, like taking money away. So like they're not getting as much overtime. Certain cops, they put a lot more police officers who were like undercover back on the street, things like that. They took away a lot of the money because they felt like a lot of cops were just kind of collecting these big checks and not doing the right job. So.
But not bad guy, right? I say police, I say savings. I say money is just too much to collect for all these police officers. I mean, they get paid to just stop criminals, and all of a sudden they just do their job 24/7 on subways and buses, even across the streets in parts of the neighborhood, and communities. Any questions? Anything else?
What do you think causes the police to act on police brutality?
I say what's the cause of police brutality may contain lots of police officers who may notice that they don't know any kind of person who is really arrested for something that they did illegally. For example, in Tyree Nichols, from the video that I saw on CNN, this is the part where police officers have arrested Tyree Nichols for, I remember maybe arresting, or it may have to do with stealing. But then with police officers, they just ask him questions. They may have to they didn't ask him questions, they just use their force to just arrest him, get him on the ground, so that way, once they're on the ground, and then all of a sudden he didn't do anything wrong, he just run away, and then all of a sudden police officers just got him down, and then, and all of a sudden they just kill him, and they didn't ask any questions. They just ignore and just arrested Tyree Nichols, and then he cannot survive anymore. That's why he died. Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to talk about a little bit about her question. I feel like a lot of it is really blinded by that adrenaline of power, and because it and also just the stereotypes that and police history has put on black people.
Oh.
Telling them, hey, go to these certain places and arrest these certain people. Cause I know they're gonna be bad. Cause I know they're gonna do this. And I feel like with that, they have less mercy on black people. Because that is part of their history. Because of that. So I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm so
No,
sorry.
absolutely. And
I'm
it's funny,
so
I was having a conversation yesterday about, I guess it goes back to, of course, like racism and like, that is a learned behavior, you know, where sometimes we can't even get mad at the racism because of the fact that this is like, they learned it from young, they learned it from their grandparent, they learned it from their great grandparent. So it's almost like, okay, I'm expected to be this person, even as a cop, I should be racist because that's all I know about, you know, so.
And also, like, it's the idea that they get paid doing these certain things. Like, they have to have a certain amount of tickets to get a certain amount of wage, like, get a certain amount of pay. So, of course, they're gonna try to look left and right to give somebody a ticket. And I think when it comes to that, adding to the history of them abusing black people for literally nothing,
Wow.
they would mostly lean on these people to just get their money. And when it comes to that, arresting people, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, the labor in incarceration, the way they get barely paid there, I can't, I'm sorry.
Well, that is really what you say is kind of true. I mean, it has to do with tickets. I mean, tickets is kind of important, you know. Sometimes it has to do with police officers checking on you know, the people who park their car and then they just give them a ticket to just know if they park illegally or park somewhere that is not properly.
Maybe some BS.
I know. Sabrina, you said a question. You just said a question about what you said before.
What steps did you think they should take for cops or police who don't, who like get the training but don't follow through?
Okay, so I'll provide my best answer if I can
And what
say
is your
you.
personal opinion? What do you think?
I think my personal opinion for the police to follow the steps, I say if they go through the training, like for example, let's see, a police. If I never experienced police in a certain way when I was young, I say they have to go through training more often. And once they go through training, they have to just like, you know, practice their combat skills when it comes to like arrest, like you know, who the victim, who are the criminals are in these types of streets and neighborhoods more often. And after they you know, after they go through training and lots of combating, I say they're good. They're gonna be approved by the official deputy person of the precincts, you know? Like the precincts are located in different neighborhoods of parts of New York. And then once they've completed their training and everything else, they're just gonna have to follow the strict guidelines and rules when it comes to doing their work as a police officer. So that way they can arrest criminals and to arrest criminals who do these chaotic things in the streets, like bombing, shootings, and everything else. Arrest people who've done these things, but these police officers should not be arresting the people who didn't do anything that's good. So more importantly, I say these officers need to get a lot of better training and education, so that way they can learn not to like arrest these people who didn't do anything wrong. And that's it. So if there's any more questions? Any questions? Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say about what she just asked. Honestly, because the training right now is how it is, I feel like someone that should judge the situation that they did should be someone out of their like office, just because it could be a little biased, and also depending on the situation, it should get as bad as stripping their badge. I feel like with a lot of cops, they kind of like be very lenient on them, and I think no, like if they're not stable, if they did this and they still went against our rules, they should be taken off.
Oh, do you mean like the badges?
Yeah.
Is it like the police officers or the people?
The police officer.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I can get to that. I can learn more about that information later. So, are there any more questions about my topic?
Thank you.
No? Okay,
Good
well,
job.
I want to say thank you guys for listening to my topic, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Lady Mandy, you are up.
Okay.
Last but not least,
You
go get your phone, Osagie.
don't forget. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Alright, y'all. Hello.
Ah,
Haven't seen all y'all